One of the greatest things about kayaking is that almost anyone can pick up a paddle and start paddling. But it's important to develop good technique, because good technique will help you paddle more efficiently and it'll help you avoid injury. And so in this video, we're going to take a good look at how to use your paddle properly. Now, first things first, you need to decide on the feather of your paddle. And feather refers to the angle at which your blades are offset from one another. The idea of having your blades offset from each other is that while you're taking a stroke with one blade, your other blade can slice through the air or wind more easily. On the other hand, an unfeathered paddle is more intuitive to use, and you don't need to twist your paddle when moving from one stroke to the next. Now, whether you use a paddle that's feathered or unfeathered is totally a matter of personal preference. What I can tell you is that when I started paddling 25 years ago, I started with a 90-degree feathered paddle. And then gradually over time, I moved to a completely unfeathered paddle, which is what I use now. I find it's easier on my wrists, and I don't really have a problem paddling with it in winds, unless the winds are very high. Having said all that, all of Aquabound's paddles come in 2 pieces, and some even come in 4-piece designs, which really makes traveling easy. Now, where the paddles connect in the center of the shaft, there's a ferrule, and this is where you control the feather of your paddle. Aquabound's standard 3-hole snap ferrule lets you use the paddle unfeathered or with a 60-degree feather. The next step up is Aquabound's posi-lock ferrule, which not only provides a more secure connection, but it lets you adjust your feather in increments of 15 degrees. Aquabound's top-of-the-line performance paddles have a 3rd ferrule option called the telescoping ferrule. This ferrule lets you choose any angle of feather you want, and it also lets you lengthen or shorten your paddle by 15 centimeters. So let's start by looking at how to use a feathered paddle. Assuming you're right-handed, this means your right hand will be your control hand, which means it keeps a secure but relaxed grip on your paddle at all times. This control hand should grip your paddle anywhere from 6 to 12 inches from the blade, and your big knuckles should be aligned with the edge of your paddle blade. Your other hand should be holding the paddle an equal distance from the other blade. An easy way to check to see if your hands are spaced well is to lift your paddle onto your head. Your elbows should be bent at around 90 degrees. Now, after taking a stroke with the blade by the control hand, you'll loosen your other hand so the shaft can rotate within it. And that rotation happens between every stroke to accommodate the feather of the paddle. This loosening of the grease hand and the rotation of the shaft within it takes place between each stroke. If you're using an unfeathered paddle, you won't need to worry about rotating the shaft between strokes, which is why most people find this more natural. Now, something that's worth mentioning is that even though we sometimes refer to the control hand as the glue hand, it's important that that control hand has secure but light grip on the paddle. A light grip will let you paddle more comfortably for longer, and it'll help you avoid blisters and overuse injuries like tendinitis. Now that you know how to hold and use your paddle, it's worth talking about your sitting position in your kayak, because this plays a big role in developing good paddling technique. Simply put, when you're paddling, you should be sitting upright and not leaning back at all. Your feet should be resting comfortably and securely against the foot pedals, and your legs should be bent and a little splayed out. One of the biggest differences between basic kayaks and higher quality kayaks is the quality and comfort of the seat and the back support. A good kayak will have a seat that isn't just comfortable to lounge in, but a back support that can be tightened to promote an upright sitting position while you're paddling. So there you have it, a good look at how to use your paddle properly. Now, something else that's worth mentioning is your paddle's your connection to the water. And so in order to get the most out of your time on the water, it's worth investing in a quality paddle, which is why I'd highly recommend checking out Aquabound paddles.